All right, so now I'm going to walk through the tutorial of the SpyParty tutorial and kind of talk about decisions made and, I mean, play it obviously, but then also talk about like different decisions and stuff. I don't actually have a plan here. I'm just going to play through it and then maybe comment a little bit, do a little commentary. So here we go. All right. So very much a work in progress is true.
Welcome to SpyParty, and thanks for joining the beta. I'm Chris Hecker, SpyParty's designer, and I'm going to walk you through the basics of how to play.
So right here, you're basically on a rail being moved around, but you have mouse control, so people who can start to see like, hey, it's interesting when you're doing a tutorial. Like I've had people who are obviously already played SpyParty play this, and people who have never played a video game play this, and it's very hard to make a tutorial for both. And the reason I want to make it so that it's at least a little interesting for people who have already played SpyParty is because there's a lot of people who played, I mean everyone up to this point who's basically played without a tutorial, and most people without someone to actually teach them. So if you just download the game and you didn't like learn at PAX with somebody teaching you, you probably have missed a ton of stuff because it's just a really dense game. So I wanted to kind of make it so that it wasn't insanely boring for people who would actually already played and just wanted a little refresher. And plus, once you've played a little bit, once you've played one chapter of it, you can go back into a menu that'll actually let you play each chapter independently. So, all right. So one thing I notice people do is they don't realize that it says hit spacebar to continue, so they're not sure how to do it, so they have to kind of look around. It's already so long that I didn't try to like handhold all the way, like, so I'm hoping you can like look around. Once you're like, what do I do next, you look around and finally see press spacebar to continue, and you're like, oh, okay, I'll just do that from now on.
SpyParty is a two-player game. The spy is somewhere inside the party, having a delightful time socializing with other guests, while also trying to accomplish their secret missions.
The narration idea came from Zach Gage, who's an awesome friend and game designer, and he basically worked on the tutorial for Tharsis and was saying that it's just super important to have a multimodal way people interact. So there's like the text is going on the screen, but if it's just the text, people won't read it. And if it's just voice, they'll like kind of space out. But if you've got both going on, then they can hear it and then kind of come back and read. And I think it works really well. This is, by the way, had been tested at PAX before, and it worked pretty well. And then I basically had got a ton of notes and tried to fix as much stuff as possible and just kind of smooth it out. And the main thing that's new since PAX is, besides just polish and little things everywhere, is there's an entire new chapter on sniping individual missions. Because I used to just throw people into a replay sniper game, and it was just way too hard. Like people would taking 3 times through the whole game. We rewind it if you don't shoot the spy, and so they were taking like 3 times through the game to actually shoot the spy, which made them feel crappy. Wasn't bad from a tutorial perspective, but it just made them feel like they were failing all the time. So hopefully this will fix that. Yeah, there's a comment that all this audio is temp audio, so it's done with different microphones in different rooms. It's like all over the place. So yes, it's gonna get an entire new pass for sure. Yeah, and so as Furby Fubar says in the chat, like you can hit space to skip the text scroll if you want to read ahead, and double space will just keep going through the thing unless there's like a gated. Unless there's like a challenge you have to do to actually proceed. It'll tell you where it says press spacebar to continue if that's the case. All right, let's continue on. So now this 40-minute tutorial is going to take 3 hours because I'm sitting here talking for 10 minutes in between each one. Yay!
The sniper is outside the party and is pretty upset at not being invited to join in. We're going to practice sniper first, and so we're looking at the sniper view now. As sniper, you observe the guests closely to figure out which one is the spy, and then you have exactly 1 bullet with which to stop them before they accomplish their missions.
I talk really fast in this tutorial, even though I've tried desperately to slow down. I re-recorded the first thing that says welcome to the tutorial like 20 times, talking as slow as I possibly could to kind of lull people into a false sense of security, and then I actually let it go a little bit. So the first one is like actually at a normal human talking speed. The tutorial chapters thing is new since PAX. People had really no idea where they were in the tutorial, so it's nice to see a little checkbox go by of like, okay, here I am. Looks like there's about 10 things, and I'm halfway through or whatever. All right. Let's see. We have Gordon the dog today, so that was him shaking. let's see. Okay, so we're just kind of summarizing the game for people who have no idea. You can skip through this as fast as you want.
I've given you movement control now. You can move around outside the level with the A and D keys and aim with the mouse.
So here's the first place where, like, spacebar is not going to do it here. So it says move around a bit. So if you move...
Try moving around the map with the A and D keys.
There. So, and it reminds you if you haven't moved. So that's an example of things where it's like, there's so much audio and code in here that's just trying to cope with what might happen. Because when you're teaching someone to do this in person, you can respond to what they're doing, whereas the computer has no idea. So it has to have if statements all over the place, like, oh, have they not moved in this amount of time or whatever. Okay, so now it switched over to spacebar to continue. So
now try zooming with the W and S keys or with the mouse wheel.
Clearly I needed to clear my throat during that audio, but whatever. If I plug a controller in right now, it would switch to controller help. So it would say, forward, backward on the stick. So it supports both. All right, so if I go in and then go back out. All right. Let's see.
Next, we're going to play a little practice game of SpyParty, except instead of doing subtle espionage missions, the spy in this game will be wearing a name tag on their lapel or dress. It probably goes without saying that the spy in a real game won't be wearing this helpful sticker. I'll put the name tag on the spy when you're ready.
All right, so there's actually code in here to put the name tag on somebody who's not right in front of you, so you don't just immediately shoot them and have to look around. Ready?
One of the guests is wearing the name tag, so look around the party for it. When you find that guest, hold the shift key to take the safety off and click the mouse button to shoot.
Okay, so like I can see he doesn't have it, and so if I low light...
Left and right click highlight and low light guest, which we'll talk about in a minute. But to shoot, remember you have to hold the shift key to take the safety off and click the mouse button.
So you'll notice I have to repeat things a million times because no matter how many times it's repeated, people still are like, I don't know how to shoot or I don't know how to whatever. So that was a case where it was like, oh, I see that you low lit, or the same thing is true of highlighting. And I don't know if it does it now. No, so like it tests. Okay, I've already told you that. So I can go through here and low light people, but it knows. Oh, hey, there we are. So hello, my name is Spy. Now, if I shoot somebody else here, there's code for that too.
That wasn't the spy. The spy in this practice game is wearing a name tag, so just take your time and look around until you find it.
So that continues.
Look at the guests and
do
shoot
lots
the
of
one
different
wearing
things.
the name tag.
Here's another example. If I shoot a cast member,
nobody in the cast can be the spy, so never shoot anybody with a
so you can
triangle
see
over
that
their head.
with a straight line playthrough, you're seeing maybe a quarter or maybe a third of the available like stuff that's going on in there. Yeah, a little known thing that only people who helped break down the booth found
Look at
out
the guests
is that
and
I
shoot the one
actually
wearing the name
had
tag.
name tags at PAX, and I was planning on a Sharpie, and I was planning on like giving out name tags, but it was such a small part of the tutorial that no one would have really gotten it. Now I've forgotten who had the tutorial. Was it General, or who had the name tag? No, it's not General. General's stuff looks like. I've lost this. This is the spy. Who had the spy? Who had the name tag? It's not you. It's not you. Wait, there you are. Okay.
You finally shot the spy. Congratulations. To celebrate, everybody gets resurrected.
So like there's multiple ending cases depending on how many civilians you shot. Like it'll tease you a little bit and things like that. So there's just an endless number of those little things in there. But the problem is there's probably there's an even more endless, a larger than infinity version of this where there's so many more if statements and things like that I could have put in there. Yeah. So like you play through and you're like, oh, there could have been opportunities everywhere. Like it didn't notice that I like did this one thing, or it said this one thing even after I'd done it. Like it's so.
Next, we're going to do a similar practice game, but this time we'll focus on low lighting. As sniper, you can manage your suspects during the game by highlighting and low lighting the guests, marking them more and less suspicious for your own bookkeeping.
All right. So this is an example that needs a little smoothing out. Like it doesn't let you do anything here, but you have to realize, oh, it's still got more stuff to tell you, because I don't want to have this page of text on the screen at the same time, but it doesn't auto advance either. So maybe it should maybe that's the thing I should do. I should auto advance if they don't hit the spacebar within like 10 seconds or something. I don't know. It's like those kinds of decisions are really hard design decisions to make.
The party always has a number of cast members attending. These are people with different jobs, like the waiter, the security guard, the suspected double agents, and the ambassador, and they all have triangles over their heads, so they're easy to spot. No one in the cast can ever be the spy, So a useful strategy for beginners is to low light the cast at the beginning of the party. Let's practice this when you're ready to start. Okay. I'm totally paranoid that it's not recording. Let me just double check. Looks like it is. Oh my god, it's almost a gigabyte already? Wait, how's that possible? Jesus, this is going to be bad. I hope I don't have disk space. Okay, well, anyway, whatever. Here we go. Low light the cast members since they can't be the spot. Nice. 4 more cast. Good. 3 more cast members to go. Almost there. 2 more cast low lights.
So if I
left.
low light somebody who's not,
That guest you just low lit wasn't in the cast. You might want to undo the low light if it was an error. Use the left mouse button to bring them back up to neutral.
but it doesn't actually do that for you because it needs to teach you like through experience, like, hey, bad low light is a risk. But if you highlight
Practice
somebody, it's
highlighting
the opposite.
next, so just low light the cast for this challenge.
So it keeps them both on, but so you know you can't just spam the button.
Only 1 more cast member to low light.
All right, who is it? The ambassador?
Great. Now you've low lit all the cast members. Notice how the low lights blend into the background and you can see the other guests more clearly? The low lit guests are also moved to the right on the row of portraits at the bottom of the screen. Now let's practice highlighting.
Okay. I'm paranoid about running out of disk space. I'm going to... Because I only have 20 gigs free on this drive, so I need to be careful. I'm going to put this over here so I can see it. And we might have to take a break part of the way through while I move some files, which hopefully won't crash OBS. Anyway, all right. What are we saying? Let's practice highlighting. Okay, cool. Let's do that. So you're just kind of incrementally going through each thing.
Like low lighting, you can use highlighting to help manage your suspects. For this practice game, let's assume we've decided any guest who is not in the cast but is holding a drink is suspicious and we want to keep track of them.
So like that's a really complicated sentence. It's really dense. So I can go back and go like, okay, wait, what are we saying? Where any guest who is not in the cast but is holding a drink is suspicious and we want to keep track of them. And so somebody might go like, what's the cast? Because they've already forgotten that I've said 3 times there's people with triangles over their head. So like if this guy's holding a drink, so I'm going to highlight him. Or, well,
Highlight
see.
3 different guests who are not in the cast while they're holding drinks.
Okay.
You highlight using the left mouse button.
So let's highlight him.
That guest is in the cast and can't be the spy, so we're not going to count them as suspicious, even if they're holding a drink. You might want to undo that highlight so you don't lose track of your real suspects.
Okay, this person's not holding
That
a
guest
drink.
wasn't holding a drink. You might want to undo the highlight so you don't lose track of your real suspects.
That sounded a little repetitive right after another one, so I should probably record that audio to be slightly different. Infinite.
Great.
Work to
2
do.
more drink holding guests to go.
All right, who else is holding a drink?
Only 1 more guest to highlight.
Oh, you.
Perfect. See how the highlight guests stand out from the others and how they're moved to the left in the portraits at the bottom of the screen? Oh, also, don't worry, the spy can't see your highlights and lowlights. Those are the basic mechanics of sniper play. To look at the missions themselves, we'll learn how to play spy.
So I teach how to look at things from the sniper perspective first, because the sniper perspective is like a little more obvious of like you're looking at this party. But then to teach the missions, I teach them to you as spy first, then as sniper, because teaching them to you as sniper first would be really confusing because you don't know what's going on. Okay.
Before we start, pick which character you want to be for the spy tutorial.
Okay. This is totally optional. Like, there's no reason this needed to be here, but people like to choose their spy, so I put this in here. And the new UI system made it pretty easy to put in here, but I put this in here because it just makes people a little more invested in the tutorial. It's like, oh, right, I can choose my character. So this is an example of a thing that's just completely unimportant in a sense, but is... not unimportant. It's completely non-mechanical, but just feels good from a game design perspective. All right. Who do we want to be?
When you're the spy, you're trying to blend into the party, but also accomplish missions while not getting shot. You've already seen the sniper view, so while you're practicing these spy actions, keep in mind what they'll look like when you're playing the sniper too.
Okay, so we checked off basic sniper play, we're on basic spy play, and then you can see there's a bunch of missions and stuff. Hopefully during this time you're kind of swinging the camera around, but if not, I teach you how to do that.
Try moving around now with the W, A, S, and D keys. The cursor keys also work. The mouse moves the camera and helps you steer while moving. Get a feel for walking around the party, check out how the other guests move, and try to blend in with them.
So like that's an example of there's just too much on that thing. It's like get around the W, A, S, and D keys, but that's all you're going to necessarily hear. You're not going to know about blending in or anything like that, so there's just too much on that thing. Okay. On that. What is
Notice
this
the
called?
outlined
Page.
pads on the floor. There are floor pads for conversations, statues, windows, and other active areas. Whenever you're standing still, you need to be standing on one of these pads or else you'll look suspicious to an observant sniper. Try walking to the window floor pad I'm highlighting now.
So again, the density of this game is a little insane. So like it's really long, the tutorial, but every single page almost
Remember,
has.
don't stop in the middle of the room.
Right. So
Usually
here's a perfect
guests will
example of
only
like
stop
something
on
I
the
couldn't figure out
outline
how to
floor
solve.
paths.
So like it tells you not to stop in the room, but I've got the tutorial thing at the bottom, so it's not covering up the arrow. But that means you can't see where your feet are. So it's
Good.
like
Always remember to look around and choose your destination floor pad before you start moving, and walk straight to it without stopping to avoid arousing the sniper's suspicion. We'll stay on this pad for the next couple of exercises.
So now I've locked you actually on this pad because I just didn't want to deal with all the if statements of walking away. Like as you'll see in the swap tutorial, like it has tons of cases for if you walk away with it, put the statue down before doing the mission. But here I was just like, all right, screw it. I'm just gonna like turn off the movement controls because I want to teach you some stuff on this pad. So it's just a delicate balance between giving people control so that they realize that all the options versus locking things down and teaching them one thing at a time. Okay. Yes, you can hear Gordon in the background. Gordon sitting again. All right.
Another important thing spies need to learn is good camera management. You want to always have the party in view regardless of where you're standing. You can swing your view all the way around, and the walls will even disappear to get out of your way. Try spinning the camera in a full circle to look around at the entire party.
So here's another one that's tested. So you're like, wait, what do I have to do? Oh, maybe I'll read this thing, actually. I see some suggestions and stuff going by in the Twitch chat. If you got to post those in the forums, or there's no way I'm going to see them. I mean, I archive the Twitch chat, but there's no way. So make sure that stuff gets into the forums in the feedback thread. Let's see. And the goal here is to get this good enough for Steam Early Access, but not perfect yet. I mean, it's going to, there's a ton of stuff that's going to have to happen before it's perfect, but I'm actually kind of surprised at how well it's turned out so far, which is a good thing. So hopefully people have some really easy to implement and quick suggestions, but that aren't going to require much time. All right, so this is waiting for me to spin the camera around, so I can go halfway around and come back, and it doesn't trigger. It makes it go all the way around.
Depending on where you're standing, the spy will have different actions available, and often there will be multiple actions available simultaneously, so you need to be able to scroll through them to get to the one you want. You can see an example now towards the bottom of the screen. Anytime those white arrows are visible on the sides of the action box, it means there are multiple available actions.
Okay, so this is a slightly controversial with John thing. So I put a fake action in here, pick nose, which he says is off theme and does not feel very spy-like or sophisticated. So you can scrub to check watch, which is what it's telling you to do, basically, in the next thing. But you can select pick nose, too.
You didn't really think I implemented a pick nose action in animation, did you? This is just a tutorial for scrolling through multiple actions. So scroll to check watch with the mouse wheel, or the Q and E keys, and fire it with the mouse button.
Okay. I don't know if that actually triggers.
You didn't really think I implemented a pick nose action in animation, did you? This is just a tutorial for scrolling through multiple actions.
So here's the bug.
To check watch
because this is checking
for
check watch,
keys,
I can't hit
with
space to advance through this. Because it doesn't have a space trigger. So what I need to do is, while the audio is playing, someone should put this in a bug thread. While the audio is playing, even on a challenge checking tutorial page, I need to check for the space bar to fast forward, obviously. Yeah. Infinite work? Okay.
Okay, now you've got the basics of spy control. Let's learn some missions.
All right, here we go.
Now we're going to practice the swap statue mission. Your goal as spy is to swap out one of the priceless statues for a fake. Move around and use your camera controls to find the statue floor pad I've highlighted for you and go stand on it.
So at this point, it used to go straight to this almost. And at this point, it's like, to even know how to even look around or what a floor pad is, I added all that other stuff over time. So hopefully you've spotted in the distance over there. And you can hear that this was recorded with a totally different microphone. So I don't warn you for stopping before you get there. I just wait for you to get over there now. I don't give you a lot of walking tutorial. It's just enough.
Good. I've turned on the interface at the bottom of the screen that shows your available actions. Try picking up the statue.
So I can go ahead here, and it'll skip. Like if I had picked
Now that you're holding a statue, notice which shape it is. There are 3 different types of statues in the game. You might need to swing your camera around to see them all. And note, you can swing the camera into the walls and they will disappear, giving you a better view of the party.
I hope people notice that last part, because everybody you watch playtest this game will swing the camera like this and go to here. Because you're supposed to not be able to go through a wall, whereas we have this entire thing that allows you to go through walls. So hopefully people see it. And this tutorial code is set up to not randomize statues. It randomizes the order they're in, but each of the 2 statue groups have all 3 statues, so you can see them. Just tons of little things like that.
Now you've got a spy action available. Keep an eye on your statue and swap it to complete the mission.
Okay, so now if I put the statue down, what happens?
You put down the statue. Did you mean to? The spy actions and the normal actions are separate, so you can choose. Go back to the statue pad so we can keep going.
See how it interrupted itself, and now it turned that thing back on. So there's, again, a zillion little things like that.
You put down the statue. Did you mean to? The spy actions and the normal actions are separate, so you can. Now you've got a spy action available. Keep an eye on your statue and swap it to complete the mission.
If I clank it...
You hear that clank sound? That's what happens when you try to leave before putting the statue back. The sniper really likes it when you clank a statue.
Okay.
Now you've got a spy action available.
All right, here we go.
Did you notice the statue change shape? When you're a sniper, you'll need to look for that change to find the spy, but you won't get the benefit of the color changing, just the shape. You've checked off this mission, so put the statue back and walk out into the party.
Now, if you've already played the game before, you'll notice that this is where beginner mode is really in effect. Like, I added beginner mode for the tutorial. Like, there was no action test there. There's no, like, a pending statue swap or any of that stuff. Because I started doing the tutorial trying to tutorialize that. I was like, this is going to take 3 hours. So what I do is just have a beginner mode now, and all the beginner stuff has no action tests and a whole bunch of simplified things. It's still the game. In fact, it's more of the game, like, you know, from whenever I started this game, 2000 whatever, because it doesn't have a lot of the like kind of depth stuff on top of it. It's still plenty deep, but it doesn't have a lot of the added complexity that I'm kind of layering on. All right, put the statue back. So if I clank now, it'll have a different message because I completed the mission.
Well, you clank the statue, which is what happens when you leave before putting it back. It gives the sniper a lot of information, but at least you completed the mission.
So, again, more states. And you can see in the upper left-hand corner, I've got the thing where it's like, it pretends like it's in a known one state for each one of these different things.
That's it for the swap statue mission. Remember, the spy is trying to swap out one of the statues, and the sniper is trying to notice when a statue has been swapped and figure out which guest did it.
You can just kind of walk around. Notice there's no ambassador or anybody. I mean, they're there, but all their UIs turned off to not confuse things.
Okay. Next up, we'll practice contacting the double agent. To accomplish this mission, the spy needs to say a secret code phrase to the double agent in a conversation. Swing the camera around until you find the double agent. They've got a yellow triangle over their head now.
So, I just walked into a conversation because I know to do that.
Here's the view in your sniper. If you move around and look closely, you can see multiple suspected double agents sporting yellow triangles. One of them is the real double agent.
And he just left.
You have to be in a conversation circle with the double agent to say the secret phrase. The secret phrase is banana bread, because I was eating some when I wrote the code for this mission. Banana bread is tasty.
It locks the double agent in a conversation after this after this next page.
Walk over and join the conversation with the double agent.
So if I had already been in the conversation, it would have said, oh,
conversations have a flow you'll learn as you observe the other guests and play the game more. I've turned on the actions for conversations and for contacting the double agent. Try contacting the double agent using the spy action.
So I can sit here and talk all I want.
You have to be in the conversation circle to contact the double agent, so go back and let's continue. Conversations have a flow you'll learn as you observe the other guests and play the game more. I've turned on the actions for conversations and for contacting the double agent. Try contacting the double agent using the spy action.
Banana bread.
Good. Did you hear the banana bread? Now you've contacted the double agent and accomplished the mission. I've paused the game so I can show you how many lowlights the sniper could have potentially gotten from your contact.
So that action % done indicator is new for the tutorial as well, because it's just people were always walking away in the middle of a contact and a check watch, and it was just like trying to tutorialize that was worse than just like adding the code to actually have it, and that just improved the game for everybody too. So, all right, here's the coolest part of the tutorial.
Look around and see how many lowlights the sniper might have gotten from your banana bread. These were the guests outside of conversations when you contacted. Always be aware of who is in conversation when you contact the double agent.
So it takes control of your camera. That's a weird look with Toby back there. It's like a mutant guest, mutant highlight. It takes control of your camera while it sorts them in an arc and like displays them all to you, and then gives you control back, so you can kind of see what they look like in this weird new highlight lowlight mode for the tutorial.
Here's what those lowlights look like from the sniper's view.
Then it switches over, lets you see what a lowlight will look like from there, and what as sniper what you could have gotten.
That's it for the Contact the Double Agent mission. It's usually hard for the snipers to definitively shoot for banana bread, but it often allows them to narrow down their suspects a lot, so spies need to be careful out there.
If there are 0 people outside for BB, it says there were no lowlights. Anybody, the sniper could have gotten good job or something like that. That part turned out people liked that part so much that I actually added it into the spy, the full spy 4 missions thing. So it'll pause time. You'll see in a little bit because it was just such an effective way to teach people. All right. BB split's a lot harder because there's no red test BB or green test BB in the tutorial. Oh, for you, if you're watching on YouTube later, I'm kind of occasionally looking at the Twitch chat and talking about it. That's why I'm seem like a total spaz. Well, more like a total spaz. All right.
This time we'll practice bugging the ambassador. If you look around the party, you'll see the ambassador has a purple triangle over their head.
Okay, so at this point, people usually start like following the ambassador around. Like, oh, right, I have to hit spacebar. Beginner mode bug ambassador is only
You bug the
available
ambassador by standing close to them and sticking your arm out to plant the bug. That arm sticking out part can be pretty obvious to the sniper unless you're careful, so a lot of people get shot trying to bug.
So it used to be you could do walking bugs, and I tried to tutorialize that, and I was like, wait, this is more convincing, more arguments for doing beginner mode, because you do these bugs where you're like kind of start in the middle of start in range, and then
I've enabled the bugging action, so get close to the ambassador and give it a try.
So I just made it so you don't have to be in a conversation. Like I can do it from here.
Nice work. You successfully planted the bug and completed the mission.
I really hope that people see the arm going out. I think that one of the big additions I have to do is later on when I'm teaching sniper, it's entirely possible they didn't see the arm coming out, and it was 15 minutes ago for them. And so I probably need to do what the dossier does and just have like the animation sitting there playing in the middle of the screen for a second going like, this is what you're looking for, because you can see in the sniper missions thing later, it's just hard to see.
Now we're going to learn how to flirt and seduce a guest. Your seduction target has a red triangle over their head. Can you find them in the party? By the way, the sniper doesn't get to know which guest is the seduction target.
Okay.
To flirt, you have to be in a conversation with the target, or be pretty close to them at a window or statue or other location where guests congregate.
I'm going to go over here now.
The closer you are to the target, the more you seduce them with each flirt. It usually takes 3 or 4 flirts to complete the mission, but for this tutorial, I'm going to start you at 50%, as you can see in the upper left corner. You can't come on too strong, so you have to wait between each flirt, but if you move away, you don't have to wait as long. In a normal game, you'd do other missions during these breaks.
So that thing that happened with the vignette that went over the screen, you'd be so shocked at how many people miss that and go like, oh, the lights went off at the party, huh? Interesting. And it's like, I mean, no matter how slow you make that, it's just people look away. It's just people are busy and like distracted and whatever. So you just basically can't have too many if statements in your tutorial checking for stuff like this. That's another example of just way too much information on one page. But like if you don't do that, then it's like, what are you paging through multiple pages for that? It's like, it's just a really hard problem.
The seduction action is now enabled. Move in close and start flirting to seduce the target.
So I know how to do this, so I'm going to do this. Now, in beginner mode, I also add the percent that you're going to get. That way people can see visually. They can pick up. I don't mention it, but like they can see, oh, it's 21%, but I remember it being 34%. Oh, right, the closer I am. Cool. I mean, I mentioned that part, but I don't mention actually testing that.
Good. You can see the progress bar in the mission in the upper left is increased. You need to fill that bar to complete the seduction. The upper part of the progress bar counts down until the target is ready to be seduced again. It counts down faster the more space you give them, so it's best to move away for a while.
So here's an example of my in-game UI screwing my tutorial. Like that upper-lower bar thing is just a disaster of a UI thing.
The countdown is up, and now the seduction target is ready for another flirt.
And so what I think
Remember,
I need to do
the closer
is...
you are, the more your flirts fill the progress bar.
I think maybe what I need to do is add flirt into the list of available actions, but when you're on flirt, it has just the... percent done indicator or something, or I need to basically the UI of that split bar in the upper left is terrible, so I need to fix it. So here, because I preloaded them to 50%, you just only ever need 2 flirts. Actually 21%, I guess you could do it with, you could need 3 if you were extremely unlucky, or weren't listening to the be close part. Okay.
Great, you successfully seduced the target. Now we need to talk about time. The spy's on a timer, and if you don't finish your missions before the time runs out, the sniper wins. You can see I've turned on the timer display in the upper right corner of the screen.
Okay.
The timer puts pressure on the spy to accomplish missions. However, the spy does have a way of increasing the available time while in the game. Of course, there's a risk the sniper will catch the spy adding time.
I'm going to pet Gordon for just a second. Hello, Gordon. Okay. Should I have Gordon come up into the stream? Okay, let's see. Come here.
Oh, it's Gordon. Hello, Gordon.
Okay. Okay, go lay down. Okay. Where am I? Timer puts pressure on the spy to accomplish missions. Sure.
Adding time isn't really a mission, but it's still an important tactic for spies to learn and for snipers to catch, so let's practice it now.
I'm going to blow my nose. So if you let this, let's see how long it takes me to blow my nose, because if you let this time out, it auto adds time, but I really kind of don't want to do that to you guys. Hold on. All right. Yeah, so I'm just going to go do it, because who wants to wait just to see that if statement? Not me. Oh, so that's funny, because let's practice it now, so it doesn't actually turn it on until you go to the next thing. So I wonder what happens actually if you time out here. I don't know. Oh, no, see, it auto-added time but didn't interrupt itself. It went back. It auto-added back up to 2 minutes. All right.
You add time by going to a window pad and checking your watch. There's a normal version of checking your watch, which does not add time, and which the other guests will perform. And there's the spy action, which adds 45 seconds to the clock.
The curb seems like it should disappear earlier there.
I've turned on both the normal and the spy actions for checking your watch. The normal action just checks the watch. It doesn't add any time to the clock, but it's good for blending into the
So I hit check watch there.
Good. If this was a real game, you would have given yourself some extra time to complete your missions. Assuming the sniper didn't see the timer go up while you were checking your watch at the window, of course.
That was a bug because it should have not dinged until the percent indicator filled up. So
let's put the first 4 missions together and play with a real time limit so you can learn about pacing. I've enabled the swap statue, contact the double agent, bug the ambassador, and seduce the target missions, as you can see in the upper left. I've also turned on some of the normal actions for blending into the party.
So I'm famous for not being able to finish my own spy games, so I'm sure Twitch chat is talking about pacing right now, and talking about maybe I should play this, so let's do it.
I'm setting the clock to 4 minutes. Try to do your missions in that time, but remember you can add more time at the windows. I've also turned on the sniper's laser sight, so be careful about acting suspicious when the sniper's looking your way. Okay, ready to start?
Okay, so this is the first time the laser sight has shown up. And it actually, there's code in here that has it follow you for a little while.
Complete the 4 enabled missions on the left before the timer runs out, and good luck.
Let's do a time ad here at the beginning. And then we're going to bug.
Excellent. 1 mission down.
Okay. So it should, in a second here, tell me to scroll. If it doesn't, it tries to not spam you with the initial version of this.
Banana bread.
Okay, you said banana bread and contacted the double agent. Let's see how many lowlights the sniper could have gotten if they were on top of things.
If you look around, you'll see the sniper could have gotten a lot of lowlights from that banana bread. Always be aware of how many guests are out of conversations when you contact.
Notice how it even does a guy alone in the conversation, so it has code to detect that. What was I going to say? There's no real. It doesn't really do a tutorial page on keep your number of people out of conversation low because it's just so complicated for beginners. But by constantly showing you this thing, hopefully you'll learn, or at least remember when you're playing to think about that maybe occasionally.
About half your missions done.
So if there was an example where it decided there was
you notice the sniper's laser sight following you around? Always keep an eye on the laser sight so you know when to play it cool.
Yeah, see this? I have some code in there that has it follow you around for a little while, and then it backs off. What was I going to say? That thing, it didn't actually talk about the multiple action scrolling because it decided something else was a higher priority. Oops, I didn't mean to add time there. Flirt.
Nice, you flirted. Now go work on some other missions while the seduction timer counts down.
What else do I have to do here? I got to swap. So oftentimes people who don't play are like, what do I do?
Remember, when you see multiple available actions like this, you can scroll through them with the mouse wheel or the Q and E keys.
So hopefully that hits at the time when they're like, I don't even know what to do here.
The seduction timer has run out, so you can flirt again if you want.
You can see there's a timer in between when it tells you this stuff, but it still is pretty hot and coming in pretty hot and heavy. Let's go swap. I think.
Remember to put the statue back after you're
Yeah.
done. Don't just walk away or you'll make that clank sound.
Yeah, so there's detection in there for clanking. Oh, I should stop in the wrong place.
Almost done.
a couple times.
One more mission to go.
So if I come over here and stop here,
Remember, it's incredibly important to not stop in the middle of nowhere. You have to stop on the floor pads like the other guests do, or you will get shot.
So now if I go somewhere and then stop off the floor pad again and wait for the however many seconds it is before it decides to not annoy me again, what's it going to do? You going to come back with me or something?
Be more careful about stopping only on the floor pads.
Yeah. So I basically have 3 of those, I think, in there just because it's so important for pathing. One of the things is it's easier kind of to tutorialize sniper from the standpoint of like you can practice it easier in the tutorial. So I'm trying really hard to keep the spies up to speed here. Okay. There was a thing that said, I thought there was a thing that said you've left flirt for last. I don't know if that played already. Oh, so this probably, there should be probably an if statement here. It's like, oh, if I'm scrolling and I'm near the seduction target, but the thing hasn't run out, it should say like, oh, you gotta wait a little bit longer. That's probably a good one to add. Maybe somebody should remind me of that.
You accomplished all the missions. Now just play it cool until you win. The sniper doesn't get to see this countdown timer. It's just there so the spy can't rush the last mission and win instantly.
Congratulations, you're ready to play Spy. You can continue on with the sniper tutorial or practice Spy again.
Okay, so here's the thing that I thought about taking out and just letting it go on, but you can actually play that again if you want. So this is a little confusing. And probably continue on should probably be here, and play again should be here, and continue. I don't know. But I want people to be able to like go like, if you know, do it again if they like were running out of time a bunch or whatever. There's no way to lose because it'll add time for you automatically and remind you and stuff. But so maybe the first time through this shouldn't be here. I'm totally not sure.
Let's practice the individual missions from the sniper side. We'll go through each mission, one at a time, trying to either spot the spy and shoot them, or at least narrow down the suspects.
Okay. So now, the way I did this is it loads a replay, so that's unfortunately why there's a loading screen here, that's all marked up.
First up, bugging the ambassador. At some point in the next minute, a spy will plant the bug, so stay focused on the ambassador and be suspicious of anybody who gets too cozy. Watch out for that bugging arm movement. Find the ambassador in the party, and we'll start when you're ready.
So this is something that was not here at PAX. This whole section in the chapter is new. So hopefully people will go like, okay, where's the ambassador? Oh, there it is. There's the ambassador. She's standing there. Okay.
Find and shoot the spy when they bug the ambassador. When you spot the spy, remember to hold the shift key and take the safety off, and click the mouse button to shoot.
Okay. So we're going to watch the ambassador. Sometimes my mom was like, okay, so what do I do? I'm like, come on, Mom, move. Didn't like that path. Oh, there it was. But let's say we decided it was him.
Nope, that was a civilian, but at least you know that guest is not the spy now. Let's rewind and try the same challenge again.
So this rewinds to the exact same spot, and it, you know, within the next minute that the Amba is going to get bugged. So I think it does the right thing for cast members too.
That person was in the cast and could not have been the spy. Yeah. Remember, guests with triangles over their heads are the cast members. We'll rewind and try again.
Oh, another cool thing that the tutorial made me do is replay sniper shots actually kill the person. So I override all the animations and actually kill them because I was like, the emotional payoff from the actual sniper shot sound and the death animation is so huge. It used to be in replay sniper mode. If you would shoot, it would just go yes, you were right, or no, you were wrong. But it's just so much better to have it shoot. And then what that did was it made, since I had that overriding animation thing, it made it so that I could kill the latency when you shoot as sniper in a real game, because it used to have to do a round trip to the spy machine to play that animation, but now I just play it locally. You shoot the guy, and then it comes back with the results of what happened. So it just made the game better overall. Where are you going, Gordon? All right, so here we are. Let's see what happens. See, maybe Kaylee will get it this time. He's in the chat. All right, so let's shoot him.
You shot the spy. Congratulations.
So that's a perfect example of, like, if you hadn't seen the bug in the initial tutorial, spy tutorial, like, you're just not going to know what to look for. My mom had to go through that like 3 or 4 times because she had like been too close to the ambassador for the arm to be visible. So I think I need to right before that, I think I need to pop up the dossier UI and go like, look, this is what the bug animation looks like with the little rotatable thing. Here it is with the both arms, or for that character, for the for a selection of characters or something like that.
Okay. Now try to catch a spy swapping the statue. It'll help if you memorize the statues while we're paused here, so you can know if one has changed, even if you miss the actual swap animation.
So this, people, is hard. Like first off, you have to get a view of the statue. I mean, it's good. It tests the real world stuff. Thanks, Toby. But
watch the statues carefully and shoot the spy when they swap.
But making these little challenges, I think, is good. I mean, I think having it more game-like this, I think is going to keep people a little bit more interested, even though it's long as hell. All right, so here's somebody going to the statues. I tried to make a replay where there were multiple people who went to statues, but not that many people who, so you had to watch carefully. But the fact that you only have a minute and a half is good. And I tried to make it so that it weren't like multiple people going to statues at the same time as well. It's obviously a different spy here. It's like, that's a hard camera angle, right? Zoop. Okay. So if I let it go, it gives you, like, I don't know how long, in like 15 seconds or something after that, to notice in case you were starting to memorize. It should restart here. Gordon is currently under my desk and now is twisted in the cord. Okay, down. Down. Gordon, down. Down. Okay, fine. No, down. Okay. Oh, it lets it completely run out of time. I guess maybe
You missed the swap, so let's rewind and try again to catch it.
Okay. I think it's this person.
Another spy down. Good work.
Okay. I let you shoot before the thing happens because you might have narrowed it down to 2 people, shot one person, and it wasn't that person, and so there's no reason to make you sit through the whole thing again. So I try to make it like you can blast through the tutorial if you know exactly what you're doing.
This time a spy will contact the double agent. It's really hard to shoot someone for contacting, but it can narrow your suspects, so let's practice low-lighting guests outside of conversations when you hear the banana bread.
Where's Damon? What is he looking at? Why is he... What's up there? Is he looking... Damon is apparently appreciating the deer. That's very strange, since he's not supposed to do that. Okay, whatever.
When you hear the spy contact the double agent by saying banana bread, quickly look around for anybody not in a conversation and low-light them.
So this one has a pretty cool... So there's no way to shoot for banana bread in a single mission.
Banana bread.
Okay, so...
Did you hear the banana bread? Low-light
person.
all the guests who are out of conversation when you heard it, and hit space when you're
This
done.
person...
Remember,
we're
you
gonna
low-light using the
accidentally
right mouse
low-light
button.
that person. This person's in the cast, and so it doesn't matter. Okay, so now it's waiting for me to hit spacebar, right? And so it could run out of time completely here, and I think it auto-switches, but like... Okay.
Okay, let's see how you did. I'll rewind to
Ready?
the banana bread.
Here we go.
And then point out any guests you missed while low-lighting.
Check that out.
Banana bread.
Here are the guests you missed low-lighting, outlined in white.
A little gratuitous, I admit, but pretty cool. All right, so I missed these 2 guests. So it left my lowlights on, and it shows me, okay, he was walking, so I can clearly see that, and this person was alone in conversation. So hopefully I pick up on, like, oh, I see, I missed.
Next, here are guests you low-lit that weren't completely safe because they were in conversation and could be the spy.
Right, so here, now it's showing me, okay, I shouldn't have low-lit him.
In case you're curious, here was the spy for that test.
Okay, and that just shows, like, hey, there was a spy, and it was a person in a conversation. Hopefully those lessons all come across. I mean, again, it's a lot of density here.
For this next challenge, try to spot a spy adding time by checking their watch at a window. Remember, normal guests can check their watches too, but the time in the upper right won't change, so don't accidentally shoot a normal guest.
All right, so I made a little replay.
Keep an eye on who's checking their watch at the window and pay attention to the clock.
I actually added a feature to the replay system that allows you add events and resaves the replay with event annotations in there. I can't remember if it's turned on for non-developers, but it seems like it could be a cool thing to like mark up a replay sometime for like making videos. So there was a watch check, but then no time added. My mom did great on this part. She's like, okay, she's looking up, and oh wait, there went the time. So I might have, if I wasn't paying close attention, I might shoot this person.
That was a civilian, so we'll rewind and try the same challenge again.
So those shoot a civilian and shoot a spy things are generic because I didn't want to like have 4x the number of samples for doing that kind of thing. Okay. So there's the time ad. I know that person, and the time didn't go up. So hopefully, okay. Here's another person. That's the ambassador. Now, if I look at this person, check watch. Oh, there went the time. So hopefully.
Excellent. You got the spy.
There.
I've saved the hardest challenge for last, but I'm going to give you some help. You're going to try to shoot the spy for seducing the target. Unlike a normal game, I've outlined the seduction target for you, so use your highlights to keep track of who moves near the target repeatedly, and good luck.
Apparently I recorded that one in a closet. Okay, so here's one place where I changed the rules that aren't actual. The tutorial rules are different from the game rules. The seduction target is visible as sniper because I just could not figure out a way to tutorialize this that wasn't impossible basically without showing the ST. Okay, so
look for somebody moving towards and away from the seduction target suspiciously often. Don't forget to use your highlights to keep track of the guests.
All right, so if you're super smart like me, you'll just highlight everybody near the seduction target except for this guy doesn't need a highlight. So who else? That person could be. All right. So who are possible suspects? So far, so good. Hmm. Oh. Moving away. Oh, well, that's not convenient. Aha! So the chances someone who doesn't already know how to play the game is going to do this is slim to none, but like,
Nice shooting.
I almost
That
shot
spy's
Toby.
espionage career is over.
All right, so
That's it for the individual mission tests, and now let's put it all together.
okay, so here's the part that is going to be fun for even players that have already played, and you can just go in and play the first chapter and then back out and then just get to this part. And I'm going to turn this into a speedrun mode, but
Now we're going to play another full practice game, but this time you'll be the sniper, and you'll have to find and stop the spy before they complete their missions.
So this is the last chapter, and it's an entire game that you replay snipe on with commentary or with hints and stuff. Which gave me the idea of doing a speedrun set of replays, but I was going to try and get that in for this build, but I couldn't get it going. But close. All right.
For your first sniper playthrough, I'm not going to distract you by giving you too much advice while you're playing, so remember to watch for the missions you practice and use your highlights and lowlights to manage your suspects. Playing sniper is hard. If you don't catch the spy this first try, don't worry about it. We'll rewind the game and give you another try, and I'll help you out a bit more each time. We'll start when you're ready.
Okay. The hard camper is complaining about the fact that I even bothered to tutorialize seduce in the tutorial. All right. So this screen is here because I used to just start spewing information at you while you were playing Sniper, and Sniper is the one where you can't, at least for me, and it seems like other people, where it's just really hard to concentrate on anything else. Like when you're streaming and playing Sniper, unless you're practiced at it, like it's just hard to talk when you're streaming. Whereas it's pretty easy to talk about what you're doing as Spy. So I switched this around. Instead of it just spamming you with stuff, it leaves you alone the entire first game and just lets you win or lose. And then it starts layering on things like pauses at the banana bread and reminders to memorize the statues and stuff like that. And so it actually has multiple different things it does in layers if you fail to shoot the spy, to the point where it eventually starts low lighting people for you at the beginning. It's like, okay, I'm going to give you a low light. So it eventually will just grind it down. It won't ever low light down to the spy, but it'll keep your low lights if they're correct every playthrough, and it'll low light down to 2 players, so two guests. So at least it makes you like, let me just camp these 2 people, and that's as far, because there were just so many people struggling with the actual just throw somebody into a replay and start yammering at them. So well, here it goes.
Okay, watch for the missions, use your highlights and lowlights, and good luck.
Now I'm actually going to play this. All right, so what is this? That's all 1s. And Amba's over there. And this is 1, 3, 1. All right. So obviously you can just camp the Amba here if you want, like, because it's known for, but whatever. It's no fun. See, like, I can't even play. Okay, statues are fine. I can't even talk, and it's just the tutorial. Oh. So here's the reason this is going to be not the greatest set. Like, where's that? I mean, it's obviously her because of pathing, right? Oh, and there's the bug. So I'm going to shoot somebody else real quick.
Nope, sorry, that was a civilian. I'm not sure why I'm apologizing to you, since you aren't the one who got shot. Regardless, that guest gets a low light since you now know they're not the spy.
So the way I'm going to do the speedrun thing is if you shoot a civ, it's over. So you have to only shoot the spy. You have to shoot the spy and only shoot the spy for an entire set of replays, like a directory. So it'll tell you what number your attempt was. It'll keep track of how many attempts it is, and then it'll tell you what your time was total. And it'll randomize all the replays the way this does. This has 21 different replays, so you're not gonna. So every time you play this, it's different, and if you go back in, you can keep practicing. Now, since they're beginner, I did a query on the database of only beginner replays. So I see I low lit that spy. That civ for you after the shot because it's again too hard. So I just want to keep giving people.
Banana bread.
So next time through, it would have paused and done
Banana bread.
and done. Oh, the coughed. Next time through, it would have actually paused and done the cool banana bread thing. Hey, you. Does she actually add time? She's pathing all over the place. So pathing is what's going to make this. Oh, so right. So I did a query on the database of beginner games, like games within the first. I can't remember what it was. First 20 games or something like that were spy wins. So it's a directory of those, and I had to. So it's got a lot of things like clanks and things like that. I had to. At the community helped me weed out stuff because there didn't used to be beginner mode. So any like red test BBs are out or not. That's not true because the cough was there, but those are close enough to bailing on a BB that it's fine. Any green test statues, things like that. So these are actually pre-beginner mode games. So like there's a briefcase, for example, which doesn't exist. So like this spy picked up the briefcase, which is a little crazy. I didn't realize there were any of those in there, but it's okay. There's no fingerprint or anything like that. So anyway, I'm going to shoot somewhere.
Nice work. You shot the spy. This tutorial has over 20 different sniper challenge games, and you get a different one each time. So hit play again if you want more practice now. Or you can get back here later from the menu.
Okay, so now, if I play again, it'll be a totally different one. Let's see how fast we can do it. Now, I want to, actually
For your first sniper playthrough,
I want to take
I'm
this
not gonna
off.
distract you
I
by giving you too
forgot
much
to do
advice while
it.
you're playing.
I just
So
want to.
remember watch
It
the
knows
missions
when
you
you're playing your
practice
second
and
time
use your
through, so
highlights
there's
and
no
lowlights
reason for it
manage
to
your
say this
suspects.
to you.
Playing sniper is hard. If you don't catch the spy this first try, don't worry about it. We'll rewind the game and give you another try, and I'll help you out a bit more each time. We'll start when you're ready.
Rewind the game. That was the most tongue twister
Okay,
thing.
watch for the missions, use your highlights and lowlights, and good luck.
All right, see how fast we can spot them. It's 233. Oh. And 322.
Banana bread.
Oops. Was he alone? Yeah, he was.
Banana bread.
I kind of want to show you what happens when... Oh no, that's briefcase. I guess you can't low light for briefcases because who knows? Since that last spy did the briefcase. I actually don't have these games memorized by any stretch, so there's enough of them that I get a new one every time, and I don't have any idea. Kind of hoping I lose. Wonder if chat spotted him. I try not to play these games by just looking for pathing because I don't think that's that fun with beginners. So it's kind of more fun to like ignore the pathing a little bit and look at the missions for this set. But once I do the actual speedrun replay directory thing, it'll. Oh, there we go.
Nice work. You should spy. This tutorial has over
We'll be able
20
to
different
have
sniper
we'll be able to have
and you get a
replays
different
that
one
are
each
actually
time.
done.
So
You know,
play again if you want more
replays
practice
as well
now,
that we can do.
or you can get back here later from the menu.
All right, so I think that's it. Let's just
That's the
finish up.
tutorial so far. Thanks for playing it. You can revisit any of the tutorial chapters now from the tutorial menu.
And then here we go. So now this is the tutorial menu. If you had bailed early, like there'd be checkboxes up to what you had done, and then the rest would be available. So if you want to go do more sniper games, you can do it here. Okay, so that is the tutorial. Let me see if there are questions in Twitch chat. Any questions that should be included in the YouTube clip of this? Let's see if they have any questions or comments. You should ask if the sniper replays have coughs in them. You might want to include something in the tutorial with coughing. There is stuff in the tutorial with coughing. It's just if you don't find it, you won't. Again, that's another example of like, yeah. I mean, I guess I could tutorialize that separately, but like, oh man, it's just so much stuff. Like if they walk away in the tutorial, it'll say like, oh, you coughed because you left too early. How long did making the tutorial take you? I don't even want to think about it. Forever. It was insane. I mean, it was like, yeah, I'd been working on it for a year in real-time clock, but I did other stuff while I was doing it, so I'm not actually sure. What is your name and what game is this? My name is Chris Hecker, and this is SpyParty. Let's see. Can I ask Gordon who's a good boy? Oh, I think Gordon's a good boy. Who's a good boy? Yes, you are. Oh, he's leaning on the on the green screen. Let's see. No, there's no plan. So, are any plans to include action tests in the tutorial? It would need to be a separate like experience or non-beginner mode tutorial, and I would probably just break it up and be really granular, not try and do a full like kind of arc like this. So there's the dossier which previews that stuff, and there's practice mode which lets you do it, but there's nowhere right now that tells you even what happens when you're not in beginner mode. Like I need a solution to that, which is like at least a box where like your first time you're selecting a non-beginner mode level that it says like, hey, guess what? There's a whole bunch of features that you have no idea about that are about to get turned on for you. So it's not great. I mean, hopefully it's better than what it was, which was zero tutorial at all, and we just threw you in. But it's very the transition is going to be a little rocky, so we're counting on people to help out there. Let's see. If you let all the people in lose when you start the next round. So if you will only the spy be left. No, if you have the spy low lit, it clears your low lights and talks to you about it. So it says be really careful to make your low lights. I mean, it kind of tries to teach you like strict low lighting style. There's multiple different people use different low lighting styles. Like some people low light and highlight really fluidly. I use if I don't know it's the person. If I know it's not the person I low light, then I try to teach that because it's kind of the simpler style. I'm not saying it's better or anything like that, but I wish I could bring people back from low lights. I've rarely done that, so that's what the tutorial kind of teaches. Let's see. Good call, Wodar. What was Wodar saying? if you had something like, now you're done with this tutorial, here's where to go. Well, I mean, there's a play button on the front page, so do you mean where to go to learn more? I mean, I could talk about the forums and stuff, but like it's already so long. Let's see. Date for Steam Early Access. Not yet. I got to finish matchmaking and then I'll make a date. I'm hoping not too long, a month or so. Less, hopefully. The code's hopefully going to be done and we'll be testing matchmaking in a week or so, if that's possible. We'll see. Challenging part of making the tutorial, just catching all these cases. Like, I mean, you can see, like, you could easily see doubling the number of cases that it kept, like, catches. Like, in that spy tutorial, like, should it have waited longer? Probably not, because, like, it skipped telling you a whole bunch of things, but should it have, like, it doesn't want to, like, just constantly be rattling stuff off at you. So just that balance between what to even test for is just really hard. Do I have any plans to update or change the tutorial in the future? Yeah, I mean, I want to iterate on it. I think that, like, so let's be clear. Tutorials suck, and this is a tutorial. So this tutorial sucks by definition. However, I think it's pretty good for a sucky tutorial. The optimal way to teach a game is to actually have a single-player campaign. But just that's infinite work. I mean, you just look at StarCraft. It's basically 2 games they glued together. So I just can't imagine having a single-player campaign for a long time. I mean, if the game's really successful in early access and I do an entire single-player thing and, you know, all yada, 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 I could see once I've got single-player turning it into a tutorial. You know, once I've got AI for single-player and stuff and I've got that cool, then I could easily imagine transitioning the tutorial over to that. But that's just an infinite amount of work. So we'll see how that goes. But I want to iterate on this current tutorial first. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, teach hard LLs first for sure. Let's see. There's the behavioralists are complaining about the camping part of the tutorial. Let's see. I notice I don't say, hey, guess what? You're playing Known Fork. Just camp the ambassador and arc statues and ignore everything else. Like, because I don't want to teach people that. I mean, people figure that out, and that's when they transition, hopefully. But I stay away from teaching that because it's just not scalable to the real game, which is any mode. So I think it's perfectly fine for right now. Good. Are you going to adjust it much or go? I'm going to just fix bugs, and if anybody's got like this would make it twice as good, and it's 3 lines of code, that would be awesome. But if it's just things like you sound echoey in this one piece of audio, that just goes on a list, and I'll do it later. I'm going to dive into matchmaking hard. I might do the speedrun thing today just to like chill out and do the speedrun something for elite players, since the tutorial is totally not for elite players. But I may just decide, hey, I'm so far behind already that maybe I just start on matchmaking. I'm not sure. I'm really a little bit afraid of matchmaking, so I probably should just dive in. Let's see. This tutorial does not suck. Good. We have. You're wrong because all tutorials suck by definition. That said, thank you very much. Let's see. Time chapter has a bit of a problem. I already posted about it on the forums. Oh, great. Okay. Well, hopefully it's not a big thing. I can't release April 5 through 8 because I'm in out of town. So there you go. Okay, I think that's it for now. I'm going to stop. Maybe I'll cycle the video here. Or does that work on? How do I? I'm going to try. If I hit stop recording and then start recording, I assume it'll do the right thing, because that way I won't have to work with a 5 gigabyte file if I do this release notes craziness now. Okay, let's try this. OBS, don't fail me now.